Good morning, everybody. Just after 7 o'clock, we welcome you in live to another edition of Tee2Green. We're live and on the air here on WGR Sports Radio 550 and also on our streaming platforms at Tee2G Buffalo, on YouTube, on X, and on Instagram. Thanks for waking up with us here on a Saturday morning. A little bit cooler than it was last Saturday when we had our first show, but we are live today at the WNYPGA headquarters. Good morning, Jeff Metis.
A little bit cooler?
Yeah,
we were cleaning our clubs last weekend.
Yeah.
Some people got out on Sunday, not this week.
No, it was 64, I think, last Saturday. Today, I saw it said feels like 9 on my phone.
Yeah, and a little breezy, too. Touch of it adds a little refreshment to the air, that little breeze.
It woke me up for sure. Yes. Absolutely. We are at the WNYPGA headquarters. Brian Koziel, PGA Pro Jeff Metis, Jeff Blank with us here as well from our team. Kevin Sylvester coming up from TPC Sawgrass and the Players Championship in just a little bit, and the executive director of the WNYPGA, Victoria Shiro, in just a moment or two. So, Jeff, a big week on the PGA Tour with the Players Championship at a course that many are familiar with, and it's got a big name leaderboard to start here. Xander Schauffele on the top, but this course is always fun for everybody to watch.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it last week. Why do we like this? Because we know a lot of the holes, right? We come back year after year like the Masters, and to see it always has a very good leaderboard. It feels like it always has a good leaderboard. I mean, watching Schauffele play is great, and watching him play these holes that you know. And I have a man crush on Ludwig Oberg too, by the way. Reminds me of Freddie Couples in his prime, because he just kind of makes it look so easy. And the event's great, and it's fun to watch, and these guys is super important to them, so it's fun to watch.
Jeff, we're going to talk a little bit about the 17th hole, but obviously when people think of that course, that's probably the hole that people first start thinking about, that dramatic island hole on the second last hole of the course.
Did they have those whoops set up to see the heart rate of the players? I didn't catch that, but yeah,
I don't know.
That has to be the highest on the course, I would imagine, is on 17T.
Which is weird. I mean, if you've been there and play, it's not the hardest shot on a normal day. I mean, it's just a wedge to a green. You're going to 95% of the time hit the green, but the green is the pins are tough to get at there. And
pins are tough to get at. The wind can be very difficult, especially as you go higher up.
Oh, and the history of the hole.
History of the hole.
Everything. Yeah.
And even if you hit the green, doesn't mean you're going to stay on the green.
Right.
You bounce off long. You could spin off the front.
Yeah, you got to control your spin. You got to have a good flighted shot in there.
It looks like a very big green, but you got to have pretty precision there.
Very small targets. Yeah, very small landing areas.
So we'll have some information on 17, some interesting facts and figures as we'll talk a little bit later on in the show. We'll get Jeff's Western New York PGA tip of the week also later on in the show. We're going to talk about specifically irons and spinning your irons, and obviously that island hole, they need to control their spin. So we'll have that coming up. And as I said, Kevin is working hard this week at Sawgrass, so we'll get a live update from him at about 7:30. But as we said, we're at the Western PGA headquarters. If you're watching on our live video stream, we're in the boardroom. Is that right, Victoria?
Yes, this is the boardroom. And it also serves as kind of everybody's desk. We all like to work in here together.
Communal workspace.
Yes.
Yes. Open door policy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Good spot, and a lot of different plaques from the Western New York PGA's past presidents. We've got some trophies behind us, but the history in this room obviously talks about the leaders of the past, and now we're talking to you today, the leader of current times. Tell us a little bit about your role, Tori, and just kind of, I know you wear probably 1,000 different hats over the course of your time here running the Western New York PGA section. So just tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me and for coming here. As you mentioned, there's a lot of history in here. It also serves as our Hall of Fame. So if you're ever at Glen Oak, feel free, like Jeff said, open door policy, pop in, take a look. We've got a lot of old golf artifacts and history just of golf in Western New York. So always feel free to come take a look. Like Brian said, I'm the executive director of the Western New York PGA. I wear a lot of hats. A big part of my job is helping people who are interested in making golf their career, show them the next pathway into how they can do kind of what Jeff does and have a job in the golf industry.
Yeah, I think there's so many different
that's
areas
one
to
hat
work.
Yeah. One hat. I didn't want to go through them all.
Yeah, and Jeff obviously is a PGA pro, but there are so many different avenues. You don't necessarily just have to necessarily teach people how to swing a golf club. There's so many different ways to do it. Jeff obviously loves what he does. We talk to him every week because he's such an expert with the golf swing, Tori, but there's just so many different ways to get involved in making a career or having a job in the golf industry.
Yes, absolutely. And I again, really appreciate you having me on the show and that you guys are talking about a lot of different things in golf and having me come on to talk about a lot of things that we do in our community and what golf can do for our community as well.
Another hat you wear is running the foundation. And if can you explain the foundation and how it works and what the different prongs of the foundation are for people?
So what a lot of people don't know is that the Western New York PGA has a sister charity, a 501c3 public charity called PGA Reach Western New York, and we serve 3 pillars. We serve military, diversity, equity, inclusion, and youth. So we do a ton of programming in those 3 categories, and we're spread across Rochester, Buffalo, and Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and we should remind our radio listeners that if you're listening in Rochester this morning on 9:50 a.m., we appreciate you being with us here as our WGR blanket has expanded to Rochester. You also might be listening on the FM side, 107.7 or 104.7, or of course on Sports Radio 550 as well in Buffalo. Okay, you mentioned those branches. Maybe let's start with the veterans. Jeff, I know you have a big piece with the Hope program.
Yep.
There's a bottle drive, Tori. We'll get those details in a moment. But I know, Jeff, you had a big hand in getting the Hope program off the board.
Yeah, that was 2012. We created that, got that going here, but Tori's taking it to new levels. We have I'm running a program right now. How many Hope programs will we run throughout the year? How many veterans will we touch?
Yeah, somewhere between 9 and 10 actual sessions, and we will impact close to 150 veterans
every year.
Every year.
Yeah, and there's a waiting list to get into these events.
There is. We really prioritize one-on-one help and instruction, so our class sizes are very limited.
5-to-1 ratio.
There's a 5-to-1 ratio, and we try to get everybody off the wait list. But if you're put on one, don't be discouraged. If we notice a heavy wait list, we try to open another session.
Yeah, we have one at Dojo, and there'll be one here at Glen Oak, and there's one at Niagara Frontier, and there's Rochester, and there's Erie. So if you're a veteran and you're listening, there's a million opportunities. Contact the Western New York PGA, right? And what it is it's a 6-week program. Even if you're a golfer or you want to be introduced to golf, it'll get you going into that. A and B, you're just surrounded by vets and people who get it, and specially trained PGA professionals who have to be certified to teach with the veterans.
Why did the initial idea come about to feel like that this would be a helpful? Because it obviously has, but like, why did you think that was important to do?
Well, I was in the Marine Corps, and when I first learned about it, I think there was another section that had done it, Carolinas, and I was president at the time. So immediately that was a no-brainer for me, and that was, as soon as I became president of the section, that was my initiative. And we've been fortunate. We started with 4 people at Grover, Cleveland that summer, and that was it. And it's grown from there. So
again, for those that maybe don't know, Hope is helping our Patriots
everywhere.
Yep. Very cool. Okay, so there is a bottle drive that's upcoming, Tori. How about a little information on that and how people can help out?
Sure. So if you've ever driven by Glen Oak, you usually see this huge trailer. It's got Cans for Hope on it. And starting on Monday, all the way through the week, we're going to be collecting cans here at Glen Oak. So if you see the trailer, you can drop them right in front. We've got staff here all week to come put the cans physically in the trailer. And all proceeds are 100% going to PGA Hope in order to expand our sessions, get people off the wait list, and get more veterans into that free golf instruction program.
Awesome. Yeah.
So is it just cans or bottles as well?
Cans, bottles, anything that can be brought to a redemption center.
I got a bag today. That's why I asked.
Perfect.
There you go. Yeah, we see that when you drive by Glen Oak. By the way, we should say we're here today at the Western New York PGA headquarters, which is inside the big banquet hall at Glen Oak. So if you are wondering like where the PGA headquarters is, it's here. If you ever have any questions about any of the things that we're talking about, as Tori said, you can stop in and check it out. So yeah, that runs the 16th through the 20th. So good opportunity there to help out Hope program and donate your bottles. It's wintertime. You have more bottles, right? Well, I guess
I might have a few
wintertime,
cans
summertime.
somewhere.
You have some.
I might have a couple.
I agree. Yeah.
Somewhere.
Another branch, Tori, that you talked about that the PGA is involved in is junior golf and the promotion of that. And we've got a couple of items to get to there. But Jeff, I'll start with you. Someone that worked with juniors quite a bit.
Yep.
I know it's a fulfilling area for PGA pros across Western New York when they're able to work with young people across Western New York.
Yeah, I mean, how much fun is it to see a kid take up the game and enjoy playing? And there's different steps in your development as a player, right? So you learn the game. There's a lot of programs. There's PGA professionals to help you with that. And then once you want to maybe play with some other people, play some other golf courses, things like that, you might want to step up to the Western New York PGA Junior Tour, which is a very professionally run a series of events around Western New York. And Tori knows way more about it than me. But as soon as I get a student who's interested in golf and they want to compete, that's the first place they want to go.
Yep. Tori, the different levels, like in terms of the pathways, how does that work for the parents that are listening that may have a son or daughter that they want to get into golf?
Yeah, we have a couple divisions. It's pretty much based on age, but we just opened up new divisions this year. So if you are 13 to 18, boy or girl, traditionally you could only play 18 holes on our tour. But we've recently this year just opened a 9-hole division. It's less competitive, more camaraderie, friendly, and just really want to get people out on the course. We want playing opportunities, and that's what we're trying to do.
You know, and if you're trying to be a competitive player, if you want to play on your high school team, or you have dreams of playing in college or further than that, this is how you hone your competitive skills, by going course to course and playing against good people of your skill level and people that are also very, very competitive in the game. And that's a great way to your son plays. It's a great way to get better as a player.
Yeah, my son played in the 9-hole division and then has moved up into the 18-hole division over the years. And I would agree with you. The competition's great. An opportunity to maybe play some courses, Tori, that we've never seen before or that they wouldn't have access to. That's a great opportunity. And also some of the new friends that he's made along the way. That they've then gotten together and played golf maybe at a future time afterwards. It's really, really worked out nicely.
Isn't that what golf's about?
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. You just make a bunch of buddies and you have fun and you compete a little bit and you have a great day while you're out there. And that's what the junior tour is about. Yeah.
And depending upon maybe where you live, there's an opportunity that you can drive all across Western New York if you want to. If there's a course you see as part of the offerings, you can do it. But there's also some that might be very close too. So it kind of depends on kind of what you're in for and how long of a drive you want to make it. But I know that there's courses going from the east side of Rochester all the way down to Erie, PA, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a very wide variety of courses, public courses, private courses, Erie, Buffalo, Rochester, as you mentioned. So no matter where you're from in Western New York, you're going to find something that kind of suits you.
And boys and girls, and what's the age span again?
So we have 10 to 12 and then 13 to 18.
Okay. So 2 different areas that they can sign up. And then the 10 to 12 is 9, or is it anybody for 9?
Anybody for 9 now.
That's right,
That's the
because of
new
the new
division.
piece.
So anybody can sign up for just the 9-hole division. But if you want that more competitive 18 holes, then sign up for.
And there's boys and girls in both. Everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Very cool.
Good to hear.
All right. And that registration is now open, correct?
Registration is open and it's filling fast. So if you are somebody that likes to plan and get your schedule done, I highly recommend getting registered as soon as you can.
westernnewyork.pga.com in order to do those junior registrations if you want to sign up your son or daughter for that. Other opportunities, Jeff, you mentioned PGA Junior League.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I know that is expanding every year. Tori, how about tell everybody a little bit about PGA Junior League? That's more of the team setting.
Yes, that is a team setting. It's always one of my favorite things that we do because you get your team kit, you have a jersey, and you're working with a PGA professional to learn that skill, and you're going around the course. And that, again, is another on-course opportunity that also has instruction involved in it.
That one, I love it with the uniforms and the
they
kids
love it.
talking to each other. And it's a low pressure situation in terms of the golf, Jeff, because it's a 2-man scramble format. So if you mess up a shot, who cares? You got your partner to help you out.
Well, even like your son still likes to play in it, even though he's a good player, because it's just fun.
He signs up for it.
Buddies.
Yeah, he signs up for it. He plays with Pendleton Creek, and he loves it because it's, for him, it's that no pressure, just all fun, and kind of even go for the gusto, kind of, let's see how good of a shot I can hit here, knowing my partner can help me out.
Yeah, we've all played in scrambles. That's what we do in a
Right.
scramble. I watched Tori do it a bunch of times. Yeah. But if you're a parent listening, go to PGA Junior League and you can search and find a facility near you that's hosting one of these. Read about it, watch the video. It's one of the best junior programs I've ever seen. If
What
not the best.
I like about it is you start, like my kids just started in PGA Junior League and the eyes are wide open and they look up to the older kids in the tour,
Yeah.
basically. now, like, and I'm sure Jack went through this, it's kind of like a life lesson where he becomes a coach then for some of the younger kids, and you kind of develop that you don't have a lot of those opportunities, in other areas. So I'm looking forward to my kids, becoming kind of the
leader
in the future,
someday.
the leaders
Yeah.
in the future.
Here's
So
what
it'll
you
be
do
good
here,
for them.
kid. Let me show you how. to
Yeah,
get this
exactly.
shot.
Here's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
learned
yeah,
over 5 years.
Yeah,
6
no, but
years.
depending upon your pairings, though, those scenarios can set up. Sometimes maybe you're playing with a more experienced player, or maybe a difference of age, and you're right, it can kind of turn into maybe more of a coaching model kind of thing, vice versa.
and the pairings rotate. And
yeah.
everything else.
You can get a different pair each week. So yeah, that's a good opportunity. And again, you don't have to be a member at a club. There are public facilities, including right here at Glen Oak, that you can get signed up for PGA Junior League. So that's another option for juniors. Another one, which is free, correct me if I'm wrong, Tori, is drive, chip, and putt.
Yes, drive, chip, and putt is free.
All right, tell us a little bit about that. And I know we have some exciting news with drive, chip, and putt coming up at the Masters in a few weeks. But what does that at least look like here in Western New York?
Drive, chip, and putt is a free program. Registration is also open for that. You can find it on our website. That is where kids can come. You really need very little experience. It's just a fun day. You can come see it at Glen Oak. We've got tents everywhere, and it's just a massive crowd of people. And you hit 3 drives, 3 putts, 3 chips, and your scores combined at the end. We have a little award ceremony. We always give out some swag, so it's a really fun day.
That event too, again, if you just want to have them come and kind of feel maybe like a little competition, they're not necessarily having to commit to being out on the golf course for 9 or 18 holes. I think that's a great spot for them to maybe feel a little competition, even maybe get a little nervous. That's okay,
Yep.
Jeff. You always talk about that. That's part of life. Like,
Go up a level,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's great for the kids. They can graduate from there to the regionals, and then we've had kids who ended up making it to the Masters. Multiple kids,
Which we will this year.
Yeah,
we will this year.
We have
Claire
another-
Brady, someone who participates on our tour, also will be at the
And
Masters.
where'd she qualify from? Where's she from?
From here.
From Western
She
New York?
started.
No,
here.
I mean Glen Oak, or
Mhm.
oh,
She
really?
moved all the way up through everything. And so we're really, really proud of her. I'm going to be down there also.
That's
I've
great.
Nice.
requested to volunteer for her group to kind
Weird
of
to go to
walk
the
around.
Masters and watch that.
Yeah.
that'll be
Good for
fun.
you.
You had to clear your schedule for that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
It
Have
was
you
a
been to Augusta
no-brainer.
before?
No, I haven't. It's my first
Oh.
time.
It's going to be
it's
amazing.
Yeah.
it's amazing. And that's some of the best TV of the year. That Sunday when they have the drive, chip, and putt at the Masters. It's just a great watch. I love seeing how excited those kids are, and the dabs. The tour players all show up for them.
Yeah, a lot of the former Masters champions come out there with their green jackets on.
Yeah, and watch them hit. And
Yeah.
congratulate them. Yeah, it's good TV.
All right, so drive, chip, and putt. When does that start, and how do they sign up for that?
They can sign up through a link on our website, but you could also just search drivechipandputt.com. We have one here at Glen Oak. We've got Mill Creek in Rochester, Seneca Hickory Stick back here in Buffalo, and then the Ridge down in Erie.
Okay, so good opportunity across the board there. Again, that event's free, and yeah, it's really, really cool for sure. Okay, well, another junior event coming up April 18th at the new Dick's House of Sport. What's that about, Tori?
Yes, we are
A lot of
very
news.
lots of news,
Yes.
and this was a great time to come on the show. So if you noticed, the brand new Dick's House of Sport was just built in Amherst, and we are proud to partner with them to bring the junior golf days back. If you've been a part of it before, we're doing it again. So simultaneously on April 18th in Victor, in Erie, and right here in Amherst, we're going to be doing a free clinic for juniors taught by PGA professionals for ages 5 to 9, completely free, no equipment needed. We're going to bring snag gear, which Jeff, maybe you can talk about snag gear.
Snag gear is it's a near golf experience that helps you simulate golf motions, and it's a great way to teach juniors. We're going to be doing something with the City of Buffalo Public Schools where we'll use that to teach the kids how to. And you can be used indoors. It's a safe way to learn the game. Yes, it's a great way to learn the game, actually.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
that is, how do they sign up for that?
That we have a link on our website, and you
Okay.
can also visit Dick's House of Sport and kind of click on that location. But we will send something out. Also, if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, if you go to our website, there should be a pop-up where you can put your email in, and you'll get all that information through email.
Okay, WesternNewYorkPGA.com. Again, the website to do that. All right, so ton of junior opportunities
Veteran opportunities.
Yep. And we also are excited to be raising some money again for Hope this year. Our 10th edition of our Duster Putting Challenge is back. It'll be right here at Glen Oak again. So put it on your calendars. Our 10th edition on July 24th. Every year it gets bigger and better, and we have been continuing to raise some great funds for Hope. A really fun opportunity to come in. That's for any ages, all skill levels. We look forward to having that, and we appreciate the PGA here in Western New York being a part of that as one of our helpers in getting this program off and running, and it's now taking it to new heights every year.
I'm very excited to celebrate the 10th year of this. I know I was a part of it back when it was at Fox Valley and over here. It is one of the coolest nights of the year for our calendar. And I know our intern and our works fellow, those who are only here for a short time with us, they always say that's the best night of the summer.
Really, event has taken off, Jeff.
We've created a monster.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, we started it on a putting green at Fox Valley, and about 40 people, and now over 100 participate all the time or every year, and we
got some great sponsors.
Peter Gourmet again is going to be providing our dinner again. They've been wonderful partners. Obviously, the Western PGA essentially runs all the scoring and the rules, and we've got a whole bunch of area golf facilities across Western New York that donate prizes and
Buffalo Trim's making a donation.
Yeah, we're gonna have Buffalo Trim there this year. That's going to be really cool to provide some haircuts for everybody that want to get it on the spot.
I could use one.
Yeah, and it comes down to the end of the lights. Jeff, we've had some really high level putting clinics put on by some people here in Western New York.
I know, and it's funny. It's sometimes you see the same people every year, so you know they're really good players. You make match play, and that's what makes it fun because it is match play. You play these 9 hole. You play 18 holes, and then we break it down and have the brackets. People stick around, and the lights and the atmosphere, and you guys announcing. It feels like a tour event when you're out there trying to win that thing, and it's a really nice trophy too.
So we'll have the information on how to sign up for that on our shows here over the course of the next coming weeks. But again, put it on your calendar. It'll be July 24th, Friday night, 6 o'clock here at Glen Oak Golf Course, our 10th edition.
Yeah, sign up early
of our Duster Putting Challenge.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. All right, Tori. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Did we get everything on your list that you wanted?
We did, yeah.
Excellent. WesternNewYork.PGA.com. If you want any information in getting involved to help the Hope program, getting your son or daughter involved in any of the junior opportunities that we talked about, again, WesternNewYork.PGA.com. Or if you're at Glen Oak, pop in. You can check out the Hall of Fame. You can knock on the door, say hi to Tori and her friendly staff. They can give you a little tour. Thanks again, Tori, for everything you do for golf in Western New York.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
She does a great job. And if you want to get engaged with our foundation, reach out to Tori. We're proud to have her. She does a great job running our association, and she's doing a lot of great work with our foundation right now.
Yep, I would agree. Yeah, we see a lot of it firsthand. Victoria Shiro, the executive director of the Western New York PGA, with us here on Tee2Green. Okay, we're going to take a time out. When we come back here live from the Western New York PGA headquarters, we're going to head down to TPC Sawgrass. Kevin Sylvester working the players. We'll talk a little bit about the Players Championship and Jeff's tip of the week on iron control with spin, and a lot more on the 17th green here. Again, WesternNewYork.PGA.com to sign up for any of those information, or you can reach out to Tori here at the Western New York PGA. We're back on Tee2Green on WGR and across our streaming platforms at T2G Buffalo. We'll be back right after this. Tee2Green live on the air, and we're at the Western New York PGA headquarters. And as you heard, it is time for a check of the PGA Tour leaderboard. TPC Sawgrass, the Players Championship. Ludwig Åberg off to a great start. He shot a 63 yesterday, minus 12. 2 shots back. Xander Schauffele, they'll be in the final group today. Cameron Young, the lone player, at minus 9. 2 players at minus 8. Justin Thomas and Corey Connors. There's the top of the leaderboard. We'll talk about it all with Kevin Sylvester here coming up in just one moment.
The Champions Tour Report brought to you by Donald Ross Sportswear, your hometown premium golf apparel company. Find us in your local pro shop or online at donaldross.com. Last week's event was won by Zach Johnson at 11 under, and next week's event is the Cologuard Classic. It'll be at La Paloma Country Club, March 20th through the 22nd.
All right, LPGA leaderboard brought to you by Neutral. Keep it tasty, Buffalo. They are off this week, but last week at the Blue Bay LPGA, Mi-Hyung Lee won by 1 stroke at minus 11. They were in Hainan Island, China. Again, off this week.
All right, good stuff. Hey, if you're watching us on our live stream on YouTube or on X, we appreciate it at T2G Buffalo. Our live video stream brought to you by Donald Ross, by Neutral, and by our friends at Golf Dojo. Okay, let's go now live to another member of our Tee2Green team. He's working hard this week. PGA Tour Live down at TPC Sawgrass, Kevin Sylvester. Kevin, good morning. Let's start with Ludwig Åberg, a outstanding 63 yesterday, has him on top. What have you thought of his play here through the first 2 days?
Well, I'm not surprised Ludwig is at the top or near the top. I followed him for 3 rounds on the ground last week at Bay Hill for PGA Tour Radio, and his ball striking was just fantastic. Greens were very difficult last week at Bay Hill, and not his strength putting. Not terrible putter, but not his strength. Ball striking is. As a matter of fact, he holed out twice yesterday at number 4, and both times I believe standing in one of those small, peak high little bunkers by the green. Hold out for birdie at 4, and then did it for eagle at 9. So, that helps the putting stats when you don't have to putt. That's when you get a 0 putt eagle. But that's the one thing about this golf course. It doesn't favor any one shot shape, but it does favor fairways and greens. And that's exactly what you need to do here. That's exactly what Åberg and Xander Schauffele did yesterday. It's exactly what Scotty Scheffler is not doing this week at the Players.
Yeah, let's talk about Scheffler. We know his first round woes have been a storyline so far this year, but his swing has been looking just a little bit off lately so far. The distance control from time to time, we still see it locked in, like we saw his shot yesterday coming into his final hole to ensure that he was going to play the weekend and make the cut. But he's got some work to do here. He's quite a bit down the leaderboard, Kevin. What's been the buzz with the world number 1?
Well, yeah, everybody's like, well, what's wrong with Scotty? What's wrong with Scotty? And to me, it boils down to one thing, his driver. And, he's got an equipment contract and trying the new driver, wasn't controlling it as well. Try to go back to the old gamer, but you can only use a driver for so long because the face thins over time and then becomes non-conforming. It happens to every player. And they test them, every now and then randomly. But it happens to everyone. So, there is also a need for the rounds they hit. Not the rounds that, we're playing or our listeners are playing, but I'm talking for the tour players here. And so he hasn't been able to find the right combination to get it back, if you will, consistently. And if you miss the fairway at TPC Sawgrass, it is so difficult, not just because of tree-lined fairways and, there's 17 holes of water on it. But the rough this week started at 4.5 inches. And all that rain, you're in that rough. Forget about it. You can't see your shoes. The ball, it's so penal. And I think that's been the problem for Scotty.
Hey, Kev, and we all talk about 17 all the time, and you watch these guys hit balls all the time. I watch Ludwig Åberg in awe when I watch him. He looks like Freddie Couples out there. He's so smooth. But yet you get to a hole like 17 where if it wasn't under these conditions, these guys would hit it close a lot of times. You're there. You can see the players' heart rate go up, or what do you notice when you walk? Is there a visible change when you walk through that tunnel to 17 with these players?
Yeah, that little strip there you walk over. It depends. It really depends on the wind, right? And position where they are now. Round one, the greens were so firm early, and there was wind, and players couldn't. We've had the back pin 2 days on that upper shelf, and I mean, for those, it looks small on TV. I'm telling you, that green is even smaller in person. And you get on that green, and it's so hard to believe that players can keep it on that upper shelf. I mean, it's such a steep climb from the lower portion where the hole be today. It'll be the better than most hole location today. They'll even have with the PGA Tour rules officials on Wednesday in our production meeting, and they told us we'd see some pins we haven't seen before on 17 and 18, but on Saturday, the plan, that's where I expect it to be today, is to have the better than most pin, and we'll have a commemoration inside the cup with it marked, better than most, the Gary Koch call on Tiger Woods, 2005. Forgive me on the year, but we all know the putt, and the call. But that rise from that lower edge to the right, and then tomorrow's pin, that traditional back right. I mean, if you fire at that pin, that's a mistake. If Fowler did it when he beat Sergio in the playoffs, it's just incredible how small of a surface area it is. But so it really depends on the wind. When that storm came through on Thursday, it softened things up and it changed everything where players were able to go at the whole location. Then yesterday, the greens were still receptive, and we didn't have the wind that was expected, and players were able to keep it up on the upper shelf, but going at that pin, I mean, you saw players that tried to draw it over that small bunker, but if they missed, it was precarious for sure.
Yeah, and Kev, going back to Oberg, obviously the talent is undeniable. Maybe gotten off to a little bit of a slower start this year. Do you think he's peaking at the right time? Do you think this round two -9, 63, a little bit of an aberration with two eagles and two chip-ins? Yeah,
Didn't he play really well here last year?
He peaks around this time. That's what I'm kind of wondering. Do you feel like he's peaking for the Masters?
Well, listen, history will tell us yes. I'll just look at the last 2 years. February, he became ill, where he got the flu. It happened to him last year. Remember, he's leading at Torrey Pines, and then he got sick.
Yeah.
He went to play the 18th T-Belt Beach Pro-Am and withdrew. He tried to play, but you just look at him, you could tell he was sick. And then he was sick again this year. I forget which it was. It might have been Phoenix. I don't know. He got sick again, same time of year. So I just think illness the last couple of years got him off the slow starts, and then he felt healthy, and boom, here you go. I mean, the guy is a great talent, a nice young man. I had a chance to interview him and chat for a few minutes after his second round last week in Bay Hill, and he's a star.
Kevin Sylvester joining us from down in Florida, the, of course, Players Championship. Kevin will be on PGA Tour Live. You can watch him there. We'll get the details in just one moment. Kevin, before we let you go here, we know the PGA Tour also made some announcements about some of their changes that they're having upcoming for the 2027 season. Some of it being about more signature events, some of them moving away from these small no-cut events, a revamped postseason. We might even see some match play in there. The season may start a week or two later now in late January. Even some promotion and regulation kind of details coming in. I know not all of it is fully official yet, but what has been some of the talk about some of those things? And is there anything in there that you're really excited about maybe?
You know what? There's a lot floated out there. And
I should say proposed, by the way. All of this proposed. I shouldn't.
Yeah, it's be approved by the policy board, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
He's got to see it. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I had to. We got to show like 3 badges to get into our parking, which is
no problem.
Not because. Yeah, it took me 45 minutes to get out of the parking lot yesterday. But anyway, so be it. It's the players. But yeah, as far as what Brian rolled out, I think this is just my opinion. I think some of that was put out there to see what the reaction's been, and I think the overall, I think the reaction's been good, right? Going to everything's going to have a cut. I think that's positive. I think that keeps merit in play. I think more players in all events, I think, is also good. I think a lot of the players, I'll say rank and file. We're talking about a top 120 in the world. I mean, it's an elite group here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's certainly positive. I'll be interested to see what the finals say is, what happens with that. I will tell you a lot of us who are contractors with the tour, we're anxious to see this, how, we make our living.
Yep.
And, less events, not good in that department. So, but I think he's a lot of things. I think we'll see most of it rolled out in, maybe some of it next year and then in 2028. But I will say this, they added events for the fall next year. So, I think he was right to say, everybody's talking about, was worried about the scarcity. He's like, they've added events. I think he's sort of kind of eased those fears by players and all the constituents. There's so many people involved, charities, the organizations who run tournaments, the golf courses. I mean, it's a huge, huge operation, guys. So I think it's a huge task. And, we'll see how it all shakes out. A ton of work still to be done.
Yeah. Well, obviously, a lot of possibilities here, and everybody's got an opinion, I'm sure. All right, Kevin, how can people tune in and listen to and watch to you this week on PGA Tour Live here into the weekend?
Yeah, and who you following today, Kev?
All right. Well, so my assignment, I'm working with Graham Dillette, and believe me, I rubbed it in that USA beat Canada in hockey, and then I won dinner. I won dinner last night on our baseball team pulling through. Boy, that would have been a disaster. How could we can't lose in baseball to Canada? All right. Anyway, yeah. No, we'll be on feature hole coverage. That's the start of the day at 8:45, and then he and I are also doing a couple shifts filming. He just walked by me there and waved. He says hello. All right. We're doing coverage on the betting stream, the BetCast. So, Blank, you'll love that.
All right.
I got to tell you, it's been fun. It's been so much fun. And I was hot yesterday, late. We're on 17, our coverage late, and I hit 6 out of 8. You can DraftKings, who sponsors the BetCast, they put up odds on the group, like who's going to be the closest. So, we were having fun, fictitious bets on that, on the BetCast, and I was just on fire yesterday. So
Inside information.
If anybody was following along,
listen to Kevin today.
They would have profited.
Right? That's right.
Now you got expectations, Kev. So
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. It's just like the golf swing, right? You go out and shoot a great round, you expect to be fantastic the next day.
That's right. Listen, we all fixed it on the range, and we get to the first tee. Sometimes all right. We'll leave it at that. Kevin, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and enjoy the weekend here on a great event.
And boys, I will see you in person next week.
Looking forward to it.
There we go.
Awesome. See you then.
All right, I'm bringing laundry. All right.
Wonderful.
Sweet,
All right. Thanks, Kev. All right. Kevin Sylvester, part of our Tee2Green team, and of course, part of PGA Tour Live, PGA Tour Radio. This week, PGA Tour Live, the betting cast, Blank. You're going to be all over that later.
I like Cameron Young 6-1 right now.
That's what I was going to ask you. Who do you like there?
Yeah.
So Young,
the value's there.
Young is 3 off the lead.
Yep.
Oberg and Schauffele in the final pair. That's a nice
pair of
swings
swings
to
to watch.
watch.
Yeah, that's some good golf. Yeah.
Okay, we will take another time out here. We're live at the West New York PGA headquarters. Again, westernnewyork.pga.com. If you want to sign up your son or daughter for any of the junior information we spoke about, get involved in supporting Hope. You can drop off Hope bottles to help them this week, starting on Monday on the 16th. All that information, again, Western New York PGA, westernnewyork.pga.com. When we come back, we'll get Jeff's Western New York PGA tip of the week, and also some more facts and figures about that island green number 17, which will give us some good drama this weekend. Jeff Blank, PGA Pro Jeff Metis. I'm Brian Koziel, Evan DePasquale producing back in our Amherst studios. You're listening to Tee2Green on WGR. Welcome back, Tee2Green, live on WGR. If you're listening in Buffalo on 550, 1077, 1047, thanks for being with us. If you're listening in Rochester on 950, welcome in Tee2Green every Saturday, 7 to 8. Hope you can be with us each week. And if you're watching live on YouTube or on Twitter on X at T2G Buffalo, hello. The room you're seeing is the Western New York PGA headquarters, their boardroom, some cool past presidents plaques up here, some trophies. And you're seeing Jeff Blank, PGA Pro Jeff Meadis, and me, Brian Koziel.
Those are the only platforms we're on, just all 10 of those?
All 10 of those.
You can't avoid us.
All over the place. You wake up on Saturday morning.
We're everywhere.
Tee2Green is in your face or in your ears or both.
Hopefully.
That's right. We hope. Make it a part of your weekend. All right, time for the Western New York PGA tip of the week. Jeff Meadis, we're going to be watching Sawgrass this weekend, the Players Championship, and there'll be a ton of camera time on number 17, the Island Green. Usually plays somewhere between 135 yards to 150. The wind is a factor, but these pros need to control their spin, especially depending upon where the pin placement is, Jeff. So for your tip of the week here, can we talk a little bit about irons and maybe the spin and like how does that work? Even for us amateurs that maybe think we don't spin the ball. How do you do that?
Yeah, so controlling your spin is super important if you want to hit good golf shots. Obviously, you can control your spin left to right or right to left to hit a draw or a fade, and that's basically how your face is to your path. But talking about hitting an approach, say, into a green like number 17, like if the more loft you take, the more spin the ball's going to have. So you know that. Also, these players are using good golf balls. So I have people ask me all the time, how do I get the ball to spin back? Well, if you're playing very slow greens and you're using a range ball, it's not happening. So play a good golf ball, first of all. That'll help you control your spin. Secondly, the more, like I said, the more loft you have, the more spin you put on the golf ball. The harder you hit it, the more speed you create, the more spin you put on the golf ball. Trajectory is also a factor in controlling your spin. So people don't ever practice control. So a lot of people say 135 yards, I hit my 9-iron, I get up, I hit my 9-iron. Well, maybe you want to chip an 8-iron in there to take some of the spin off it. A way to do that would be to choke down on it. You swing a little easier. You have a little flatter face club. It'll go in flatter with less spin. A lot of times you don't want that spin. You know, a shot I learned young off the tee was if I'm hitting it over a bunker on the right, and there's a pin there, I tee the ball up and I just try to get a little shallower with a little smoother swing. It would launch the ball higher with a little less spin. So it would land softer and not spin away from the target. And if you're an advanced player, the ideal way to do it is to aim at the center of the green and then either draw it to a left pin or fade it to a right pin. But controlling how much spin you put on the ball comes through practice and controlling your trajectory. If you can't control how high you hit it, you won't be able to control how much spin you have on it. And just, don't always reach for the club with that yardage. When you're out, like even if you're at the dojo or in a simulator with a TrackMan, go ahead, try to hit like 6 different clubs to 140 yards or something like that. So you'll learn how to flight it, how to control your spin, and you can check your spin rates indoors. So I swing harder at a wedge, I can hit it 140. Well, guess what it's going to do? It's going to go up in the air. It's going to have way more spin on it, so the wind will affect it more. So the wind, when the ball's spinning more, the wind affects it more. So less spin, the wind affects it less. That's why we're trying to launch drivers high with low spin. So spin is a very, very important part of the game. And just understand, with more loft and the harder you hit it, the more spin you're going to have on it. So learn to hit a lower, we call it like a softer arm shot, where you just kind of bunt the ball through to take some of the spin off, and practice it once in a while so you're confident with it.
That was one thing you had me do at dojo recently. You put me on the practice range and you set it at 140 or 150, whatever it was. And then you said, all right, hit this club. Okay, now go one down, go one up, go a second one up. Like you were having me do all that in practice. It is really good to kind of hit different shots, but to be able to now, I can adjust to those conditions a little bit better. How about maybe the lie too? If I'm hitting off of a firm fairway versus maybe out of the rough, how will the ball spin once it hits the target? Hopefully it's the green that's the target too.
Well, yeah, off a clean lie, obviously you're going to get the most spin. Have a wedge a little bit back in your stance with clean lies and grooves on your sand wedge. If they're clean, you're going to get a ton of spin. Anytime you get grass or moisture or anything between the club face and the golf ball, didn't you do a test with in the dojo one day with the The spin rates on that?
Yeah, I did it with water.
With water, yes. You sprayed the golf balls with water, and you saw a difference, right?
Yeah, it was about 20%.
20%. So
Wow.
a little bit of moisture. That's why people catch flyers.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're on that first cut of rough, and there's a little bit of moisture, and the ball's perched up, and you get in a little shallow. It'll jump on you because it won't spin as much because the water gets between the club face and the ball.
So you mentioned water. Does grass do the same thing? Because
Exactly.
the whole point with spin is the grooves, right?
Yep.
So you get grass in between the grooves and the ball, you lose that spin. So
Right.
that's where you get the flyers. Right?
Exactly. Once the grass gets between it, or you don't get the compression also. And heavy grass tends to want to grab the hosel, so it'll shut down the blade. Typically, you'll take more loft out of rough in those situations because the ball won't stop as quick and it'll bounce and roll. A lot of times you'll see the players, they got 225, they're hitting a 6-iron. Well, what they're doing is landing it short because they're in the rough. So they're hitting it 185 and letting it roll the rest of the way back to the pin. But controlling the spin is an integral part of becoming a good player, and at least understanding it helps everything.
I love pulling this knowledge out of Jeff's head. This is one of my favorite segment of the week. Is always
good stuff
Jeff's
from
tips.
Yes, good stuff with Jeff and the Western New York PGA tip of the week. You can get a one-on-one lesson with Jeff. Go to Golf Dojo, mygolfdojo.com. You can sign up and get a lesson with Jeff. Of course, 3 great locations now, full locations down in the South Towns off McKinley Parkway, Transit Road, and at Niagara Falls Boulevard. You can get a lesson there with Jeff, or you can go see any of your local Western New York PGA pros. Again, to find the pro nearest you, you can go to westernnewyork.pga.com. You can even put in your zip code, and it sends you right to our nearest PGA pro.
I know my daughter, it's her birthday today, was looking in Boston for a lesson because I'm not around. So she's searched a PGA Pro in Western New York, in Boston. Yep.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. 28 years old. Yeah,
all right.
Awesome.
Did good, Jeff.
I did better than I should have. Let's put it that way.
Very nice. All right, we got about a minute left. Let's finish up here. How many balls do you think over the course of 4 rounds typically go in the water at 17 at this event? At over 4 days, 4 rounds, how many golf balls end up in the water at the Players' Championship on 17?
80. I'm going to say 50.
50. Okay. So in recent years, last year was 39. In fact, 2025 and 2024 was 39 both years, 58 in 2023, 64 in 2022. The record, 93 back in 2007. I'm guessing maybe there was a bad wet, windy or weather day or something like that along those lines. But if you then count the amateurs that play it the rest of the year, somewhere they estimate between 100,000 and 120,000 balls through the calendar year in terms of how many people play that hole.
I wonder how many rounds they do a year to get each year. Well, I imagine there's a lot of people hitting 3 and 4 golf
They're
balls.
trying to hit the green. Yeah.
So
if you go to Sawgrass and you play it, you're amongst 100,000 plus balls. If you go in the water, don't feel too bad.
Well, think about that. You do have to clear those out because eventually they'll start piling up, and you'd see them coming out of the water with 100,000 golf balls a year. Yeah, that pond can't be that deep.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
No, that's it's a lot of numbers. Yesterday, by the way, the hole played 146 yards, 16 balls in the water.
It's been a tough year for it this year, I think. Right?
Yeah.
There's been a bunch.
But in terms of the birdies versus over par scores, pretty even. There were 15 birdies and 12 of bogey or worse. So it was almost kind of a net wash. All right. Well, enjoy 17. Enjoy the weekend at the Players' Championship. Want to thank Victoria Shiro, the executive director of the Western New York PGA, for all her knowledge before about the Hope program, about juniors, westernnewyork.pga.com. Jeff and Jeff, thank you. Good show.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yep.
It's always fun.
Yep. For Jeff Blank, PGA Pro Jeff Meadis, I'm Brian Colziel, and Evan DePasquale, our network producer, back in our studios, and Kevin Sylvester down at the Players' Championship. We'll talk to you next week. Tee2Green right here on WGR.